行くともりだ。いえ。
Oninaki is pretty good. I thought Lost Sphere was good and I Am Setsuna was decent, so at least Tokyo RPG Factory are continuing on their upward trajectory. But Oninaki probably isn't the leap many were hoping for. It's not the game that's going to cement Tokyo RPG Factory as a premier JRPG studio, but it does go a hell of a way to convincing me that they will get there sooner rather than later. As I said in my demo impressions video, Oninaki is undoubtedly a step forward. It's many steps forward. The story and lore Tokyo RPG Factory created is their best work to date, and I have to say this right now, whatever feelings you had about the combat system after playing the demo can be flushed right down the toilet. It really doesn't take long at all before the combat in Oninaki gets more complex and more strategic. It isn't perfect, but it isn't as basic and button mashy as I thought it was going to be. Boss battles are more slower paced and deliberate than they are about button mashing, and this is where the core of the system comes into play. Your weapon, moveset, and defensive ability are determined by demons which you equip. You can have 4 different demons assigned to your party, but you can only have 1 active at a time. Every demon's kit is unique. Sure, they all have 4 assignable skills, 1 defensive ability, and a basic attack assigned to square, but everything about how they play is different. Each demon has a unique weapon. Some are designed for close quarters, quick single target damage like gauntlets or daggers, while others have a broad, slow swing suitable for taking on groups like the scythe. You've even got ranged weapons like guns and crossbows, and these great little hybrids like one of my personal favorites, the chain whips. On the ground, you swing the chains around, hitting everything in their radius, but jumping turns them into a ranged precision strike. And speaking of jumping, that is what I mean when I say defensive ability. Your character alone doesn't have the ability to jump, dodge, or block. Rather, each demon has one of these abilities, with a few more variations like glide and creating a dome-like shield. This really helps drive that there is a situation where every demon can excel. Some are no doubt more useful in more situations, namely the demons with an actual dodge, but certain boss fights are considerably easier when using a demon with jump or glide. The biggest downside to the whole demon and combat system is that whenever you get a new demon, it just isn't viable to plonk them straight in your party and start using them. They are very weak compared to the demons you already have equipped with 3/4 of their skill trees already filled in. The progression system does have something in place to mitigate this aspect, but it's simply not effective enough. Every time you attack with a demon you have equipped, there is a chance you'll get a weapon stone specific to that demon which can be used to advance their skill tree. There are also null stones which are essentially universal, but there simply are not enough of them. You'd need at least 2 or 3 times as many null stones as the game gives you to make using new demons a viable option without having to go back to earlier areas to grind them out. The demons, much like Blades in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, are also interesting characters in their own right. Each has its own skill tree which includes story spaces, allowing you to sit back and be regaled by the demon's backstory. I really like these sequences. They do a good job building the world's lore in addition to giving each demon more individuality. The overall story is closely linked to the world's lore. It's a unique universe centered around reincarnation, death, and the perception of an afterlife. In this universe, everybody believes in reincarnation. Once you die, you'll be reborn as somebody else, losing all your memories and characteristics in the process. But there are some who cannot or will not pass over. These people become lost, trapped in a spirit-like dimension where they either do what they need to do to pass on or slowly become a monster. You play as a Watcher named Kagachi. Watchers can cross the veil between the real world and spirit world to help ferry the lost into the afterlife, aka reincarnation. They are also kind of a pseudo-police force in a way, investigating serious crimes like murder, which is actually really kind of complicated. In the first 20 minutes of the game, and you will have seen this if you've played the demo, you essentially assist 2 parents by straight up killing them. Their son is one of the lost and he cannot move on because he doesn't want to be alone. own. The parents make the choice to cross over in order to save their son. Death is often seen as not exactly a reward or a positive thing, but certainly not a punishment or a bad thing either. For example, if you are convicted of a serious crime, you are not put to death for your crimes because this is seen as a reward for the criminal. They are instead imprisoned for life. This is a very rare concept for a mostly traditional fantasy setting like this one, and it kind of muddies the whole idea of murder, because death is so often treated as a good thing. There are a ton of ways a soul can become lost as well. You find a lot of this aspect in side quests. They are very simple, usually only requiring you to go to a specific location or kill a monster, but they serve their purpose by revealing how the quest givers became lost in the first place. They may have been tricked into death, they might have a regret, or they might be clinging on because they are worried about somebody that's close to them. The story, the world, these are fantastic. The combat is good, it's serviceable. The rest of the game though, well, it's just sort of there. The music is actually pretty good, but there just isn't a whole lot of it. The graphics and art style are definitely the best Tokyo RPG Factory have done so far, and I actually like the aesthetic, but it's unlikely to blow anyone away. There is very little voice acting, and what there is Japanese only, and there's still just this air of low budget about Oninaki. It wasn't as low budget or as rushed as either I Am Setsuna or Lost Sphere, but it doesn't completely shake that feeling either. Like I said at the start of the video, it isn't their killer app, but it's definitely a step in the right direction that continues to give me hope in Tokyo RPG Factory. Oninaki is definitely worth playing, if nothing else than for the story alone, but don't go in expecting AAA levels of polish. It's a pretty good game, just not quite a great one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon.